Welcome back. Love Boat Project, episode 35. With me, as always, my co-host, Mike Robertson. Ahoy, Mike.
I don't know if you remember this. Last year, as we got to like episode 20, we looked back on the series of the tens and realized that was a real turning point in quality.
Oh, absolutely.
While we enjoyed parts of episode 10 with Al Marinara throwing ketchup in the ocean, that episode wasn't good, and it really went us on a bit of a thing. So as we enter episode 10 of this season, I have concerns.
Really?
I do.
What are your concerns?
Oh, that this has not been that good a season anyway.
Well, say in the context of this season so far, do you feel like this was one of the stronger episodes of the season? Or where does this fall? What's like the quality score of this? Right. Or I don't know how you would.
I guess we're getting right to it then. So
yeah, let's just out of curiosity.
I think this fell into a pile of episodes that we've had this season that are one storyline good, two storylines not. We've had 4 or 5 of those. And honestly, some of the storylines that are really good have been as good as anything we've seen. But the other two, now these weren't boring. Like we ran into a couple weeks ago.
No, not boring, just bad.
Right. And it's just like we're just running into this constantly where it's crazy that our standard was episode 5 last year.
Yeah.
And it was 3 for 3. And I don't think we've even had a discussion about 3. The closest thing we've had was the O'Rourke episode, which kind of doesn't count because it was like one person wrote it. It was kind of like a jumble, storylines intersecting. Anyway, point is,
it's easier for like overall quality if you have one person. Yeah, I totally.
We're falling into a trap, I fear, of these one good storyline episodes. But guess what? You got 35 minutes of stuff that has various degrees of quality, and and this one, well, we'll get into it.
Yeah. The title of this episode, Heads or Tails, The Little People, and Mona of the Movies.
Why Heads or Tails? There was never a coin flip at any point.
They didn't even
flip a coin for the dancing dinner part.
Nothing.
Could have been anything else.
Heads or tails.
Yeah.
And I'll say this too, since the cat is out of the bag a bit. I did not like the storyline. I thought it was dumb. I thought it was just lowest common denominator. Like there's no intricacies on that in the writing of that story. It's just I just thought it was it lacked creativity. I didn't think it was funny.
This episode rode the line of pissing me off, annoying me, whatever. Yeah. And it rode it back and forth, and it stayed just on this side until like maybe Act 4, and then it flew off the track. But that whole storyline was, that's classic 1978. That felt like zapped or something like that, right?
Every show or movie, it's the same,
right?
Right.
And I thought the actors themselves were all right, but as we always talk about, comeuppance just not there. But that storyline and the Mona storyline, I felt like had potential to be a little bit better with small tweaks, but there just weren't those tweaks this week.
Well, lucky for us. I wrote down the tweaks that I would make to that storyline.
I wonder if they're the same.
Perhaps. Who doesn't love vengeance, Mike? Moving on. Original air date, November 25th, 1978. And this is becoming my favorite segment.
Right? It really is. I
love it.
I do not look when I'm not hosting. I want
which is better. Which
I want to.
Yep, glad you don't.
I've been waiting the whole time, but
I'm glad you don't. But it's so. What's on? So CBS at 9 p.m. First of all, I'm gonna give you a little spoiler. There's 2 movies going against the Love Boat this week.
Oh,
CBS movie Orca Do you remember Orca?
I do remember Orca. That's where is
It's
that
where
Richard Harris?
Sir Richard Harris,
Yeah.
Bo Derek, and Robert Carradine.
Wow.
Synopsis. Let me just say this before I say the synopsis. I always thought Orca was a very cool movie.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a shark. Anyway, a hunter squares off against a killer whale, seeking vengeance for the death of its mate.
Which is Jaws 3.
Which is Jaws 3. Is that in 3D, I believe. I think that was in Jamaica.
Starring Captain Dave's wife.
Captain Dave's wife. You know what? I'm sorry. I said there were two movies on. I'm sorry. It's a movie and a special. I'm sorry. I misspoke.
Are we going back to Colorado?
No. This is not that type. NBC at 9 p.m. Dick Clark's Good Old Days Part 2. It's a salute to the years 1955 to 1965.
So were the Good Old Days Part 1,
1808.
0 to
Yeah.
1954.
It's a lot of drumming. Featuring Frankie Avalon, Love Boat alum.
Yep.
My very good friend Chubby Checker.
Oh.
Annette Funicello.
Oh, another Love Boat alum.
And Little Anthony and the Imperials.
Wow.
No idea who Little Anthony and the Imperials are. I think I saw them play at East. They played a show at East Passyunk a couple of years ago. If I'm not mistaken.
You're from El Paso.
Yeah, no accents. Here's something fun. So following Love Boat on ABC this week at 10 p.m., Fantasy Island.
Right.
Here's where it gets interesting. Now, last week, Peter Graves played a reverend, correct?
That's correct.
Well, this week on Fantasy Island, Peter Graves is a guest, and it's a very different character for him this week. This week, he plays a character named Singapore Eddie Malone.
Oh, no.
Quote, a former professional adventurer hired to go in search of Bigfoot, end quote. And that's one of three stories.
Adventurer. That is.
But then, so Bigfoot's on the... So is this a Bigfoot adventure on vacation, or is there perhaps a Yeti on Fantasy Island?
Or is it his fantasy to find Bigfoot?
That's what it is. Montalban's making them all come true.
Right, exactly. But it turns out that the Sasquatch was inside him all along. So
you just got to face your fear. That's all you got to do.
This is Harry and the Hendersons.
So that's what's on. Let's get into the synopsis. IMDb, as is the standard. Oof, okay, ready? And feel free to.
We're coming off a pretty bad IMDb summary last week. So.
Well, we're also coming off of a pretty bad title that just doesn't make sense. So
yeah, that one bothers me. I guess I should have known from Jump Street we were in for a bad one.
We're bad. This is Alex and Wally bet to see who can date Julie. Factually correct. Yeah. Artie hopes to date starlet Mona.
Did he hope to date her? Because he seemed to be kicking and screaming.
Yeah, he was trying to talk her out. I think that's almost too basic. That doesn't even mean anything. What do you mean he tried to? It's a little more complicated than that, but okay.
Or not at all more complicated than that one. So.
Yeah. Finally, Doug and his parents, in parentheses, little people, sail together, and he runs into Beth from home. Or Beth from the elevator.
Right.
Aggressive Beth from the elevator.
Hey, listen, she called her shot.
No kidding.
One thing about Beth, you knew exactly where you stood with Beth.
She should have been with that girl. Remember the one, the Love Machine? Remember that one that was with the wrong guy?
Stubby Winner.
Stubby Winner. She's in the same vein.
What was her name? Penny Jacobs. Yeah.
He's attracted to her, but little people make her uncomfortable. I mean,
she got over it.
Okay. Yeah.
Spoiler. She got over it.
Yeah, she's fine. What a shocker. Everything ended up all right in the end. Let's talk about the guest stars this week. Edward Albert as Doug Warren. more than 130 films and TV appearances. Adam Arkin as Alex Lambert. Tons of TV appearances. Sorry, we will see him again in season number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6. Billy Barty as Ralph Warren. Billy Barty stood 3 feet 9 inches tall. He was an activist for people with dwarfism, and he had a grudge against Hervé Villechaize.
Really?
Truth, because he didn't he really was not an activist, or he didn't use his position to be. Mike, I sent you a link. He appeared on a 1976 episode of Celebrity Bowling, which I shared with you. Wild stuff. He and his partner, Dick Martin, won 120 to 118. 2 things. Not a high score. And number 2, they won. So.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a very high score.
That's not a very high score. Oh, yeah. Yeah, where they played 3. I don't know how many frames is one. Let me just get the giggles out of the way now, okay? And I want to say this because I'm like, well, do I refer to as little people? How do I do this? And
I think we stay with little people. That was the nomenclature of the episode. I think we go with little people.
There's so many short puns, Mike. There's so many short puns. I did not write down all the puns that they're going to hit. It's just throwing me off because it's funny. I was like, oh, haha, he was bowling. But then I'm like, it's not really haha. It's sort of odd that they put him on TV to bowl. But I guess little people bowl. You know what? We're just going to move on to the next guest. All right.
Sure.
Yeah. My favorite, Orson Bean as Artie D'Angelo. Orson Bean, born Dallas Frederick Burroughs.
Really?
Yeah. Appeared frequently.
That guy's just lousy with good names.
He's just appeared frequently on TV game shows from the 60s to the 90s. Like famous for being famous.
So the name was so familiar, but I couldn't place anything that I knew him from. But yeah,
either.
Orson Bean, that's a name I know.
So. Yeah, that's Rhonda Fleming is playing Mona Maxwell. She was nicknamed the Queen of Technicolor because she photographed so well.
Wow.
Yeah. What a great nickname. Richard Gilliland is Wally Fontaine.
No way you're pronouncing that right.
No way. Gilliland. Gilliland.
Yeah, whatever. We'll never know.
Best known as J.D. Shackelford on Designing Women.
I saw that, and he was married to Jean Smart in real life.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was neat. I actually remembered Adam Arkin I know very well, and Adam Arkin looks like Adam Arkin looks like Adam Arkin. That other guy was like, man, he looks familiar.
He does.
I wouldn't have guessed that it was the husband from Designing Women, but I guess I saw enough Designing Women to know.
Wasn't Meshock Taylor on that as well?
He was. Hollywood himself.
That's right. Patty Maloney is Dottie Warren. She towered over Billy Barty. She was 3 feet 11 inches tall.
You could really tell too. Like,
yeah, she
looked a lot taller than her. Yeah.
She was often a guest on the Donnie and Marie show.
I feel like she looked very familiar.
She was recognized. Yeah, the
feel
voice.
Like she was on a lot of stuff probably in the 80s. Like,
I thought she was great.
I thought she was excellent.
I thought she was really good.
I really thought she was good because Billy Barty was doing his shtick for a while, but what's
with his eye. He kept by the way, Billy Barty had a very weird, creepy line in this show. We'll get to it when we're here in a few, but he was weird. He was weird with the one eye and the thing.
I feel better knowing that he is an activist for people with dwarfism. Also, I do think ultimately you were going to get some of those puns that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But they stepped off the gas. I was very concerned early that it was going to be this and they weren't even offensive.
No, it was just a lot.
Jokes. They were not offensive.
I was wondering because I'm like, man, I really hope they're front loading this with these puns because I was like 5 minutes in and I'm like, you gotta hit me.
Spoiler, that was by far the best storyline. I did not I did not see that coming 3 minutes into when Billy Barty's on the boat.
Oh,
so.
God, no. Me neither. Finally, Patty McCormack as Beth Donaldson, the aggressive elevator riding Beth Donaldson, played Jeff. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Played Jeffrey Tambor's wife on the ABC sitcom, my favorite theme song ever, The Ropers.
We are 3/4 done the Ropers cast.
Yeah, no kidding.
This season. And I will say this, she put a lot more effort in than the last Ropers cast member we had.
Yeah, she did. All-time low effort.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
It'd be tough to top that one or bottom that one.
I
was very excited when I realized it was her. I do think so. The Ropers was not on that long, and it certainly was on before I was of viewing age. But they must have played those episodes in Three's Company reruns because I remember the Ropers like seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her, and she looked like her. Good for her. So,
and I don't think the Ropers lasted that long.
No,
I think that was the thing. Seasons? Like it was just kind of fizzled after a bit.
Yeah.
But great theme song. Anything else to cover before we get on the boat?
So I think we have settled in to the portal, the portals that we know, right? Everybody's doing a pose.
100%.
I think you're getting what you're getting. You're not getting those episode clips or whatever. There were a couple people this week. Adam Arkin gave like a eyebrow shrug. He's like,
Yeah, it's 100%.
Right. And
how funny, isn't it weird? Like I can't imagine not having the portal now and having to rely on the ticker tape scene.
And I will say it helped this week because name wise, I didn't
characters, man.
I didn't know what's her name from the Ropers that we just talked about. I didn't know what her name was, but I knew her by face. And then obviously Billy Barty, went for it. Not shocking, but good to have them. Good to have them as a regular thing now. Good that we avoided what would have been like a 7-minute wave shot because they were padding this episode like crazy.
There was no need either. It was just. Let me ask you on this one. What's our average guest star? Would you say count? Because there's 8 this week, and I feel like that's
this
high.
Season. Yeah, I don't know that we've stood in the
eight portals. 8 portal guests.
I would say 6 or 7 would probably be the average over the course of what we've done. Like if you remember, we've had as low as 4. We had maybe we had 10 a couple weeks. But I would say like 6.5, 7 if we sat and averaged it out. So,
all right, well let's get on the boat. Excuse me, I should have hit the mute button there. Amateur. Mona Maxwell is entering the ship, and she is swarmed by autograph seekers as she's boarding. Steubing walks up, and they give each other a kiss, lips kiss, like I know who you are kiss.
Very familiar.
Instantly disappointed, and Steubing says, "The princess always sails better when there's a queen aboard."
Right,
SOB. Here we go.
So they they go to this a lot. This is at least the second time this season because Richard Dawson got the same. Like this is how we connotate a famous person is on the boat. We have this gaggle. No, not kissing. We have a gaggle of autograph seekers. Like just on top of these people. And then they immediately shut it down. And if you notice when she's like, I don't have any more time for you, autograph people, they just kind of file out in order. Like they took it.
They were just extras when they showed them on the stairs. Like, oh, look at my admirers. And they were just like, but you never saw them again, the rest of the crew. So like, why were they on the ship? Yeah. You never saw them hounding her ever again.
Yeah, that could have just been an insert shot. Like they weren't even on the set.
No. It should have been like that in the parking lot. Some paparazzi.
Like the back of another set.
Yeah, something. Doc knows her too. She gives him a smooch. And I wrote, apparently she knows the entire crew, or at least Isaac, Julie, Doc, and Steubing. So
2-part question on that.
Yeah.
She's on this cruise every year, it sounds like.
She wasn't on it first season, but go ahead.
Well, she could have been. She just wasn't on a cruise.
It wasn't a televised cruise.
Right. Yeah. It was non-televised. It was blacked out.
That's right.
Has she hooked up with any of the crew members?
Oh, yeah.
Is it
I think
Doc,
she's...
or
No, not Doc. Not Doc.
Not Doc.
Not Doc.
Isaac?
No.
Oh, like a random cruise member?
Yeah, just random. No, I think she threw, she threw one Steubing's way. Not...
Oh, there's zero chance she threw one Steubing's way.
I think she maybe like kissed him or something. Okay, you know what? You may be right, because he's just a goof, because he wouldn't be able to act.
Yeah, he couldn't. He can't keep that stuff in check. I think it's clandestine Doc, kind of like that Patty Duke one we talked about last season.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they don't talk about it. And that's why Doc is so willing to kind of matchmake for her later. He's like, I've been there. Plus, she's probably too old for Doc. And then
she's always
my theory.
Too old for Doc. Yeah.
Here's my theory. She was the rebound for Isaac after Roxy Blue. She got him back on the horse.
Let me just say this. That is the craziest rebound you could ever imagine. That's like a slump buster. Something.
I'm just saying, like, Mona's like, come here. Your pina coladas.
I know what you need. Your notorious pina coladas that don't look like pina coladas.
Get you back on the beam, my man.
Yeah, maybe make you a pina colada that looks like a glass of dirty salt water. Here you go. Drink this.
We're not even trying with drinks anymore.
Am I wrong in saying that, though? I noticed I'm like, that's not what a pina... I mean, we know what it is, but there's no world where that's a pina colada.
That one a couple of weeks ago we gave Gopher's sister, and it just looked like the Windex or something. Yeah. Like, the props department is not having a good season.
Wow, it was a big day for them to have that giant drink served in a giant ashtray with all the fruit from the bar and 2 straws. Stupid.
We'll get to that.
Of course, it's... All right. Enter Artie D'Angelo. He walks up, asks Doc if that's Mona Maxwell. And this is where we find out Doc says she sails with us every year. So it makes a lot more sense why she's smooching.
Familiar, yeah.
Artie says he's a huge fan and that Mona is a, quote, real star. So Doc asked Artie if he'd like to meet her. Tells him that she's regular people. Wouldn't the crew try to keep the fans away from her if she's here every year? Oh, hey, stranger. Here, you want to meet her? Like, what? They just told all these other people to beat it. Beat it.
Well, those people didn't pass the test. Clearly, it's like, when a guy at a concert picks out a groupie.
It's just...
I think they got a signal. If she's on there every year, they got a signal.
Oh, it's like the Van Halen groupies.
Right.
Oh, I see. I see.
This has been in the work. I mean, when you lay your eyes on a piece like Artie D'Angelo, owner of 10 auto repair shops, come on now.
I mean, former bartender's mechanic. Small world.
Well, it is. I don't know if you remember. It is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so it is Small Business Saturday.
It is Small Business Saturday. That's right. He was making the decision to miss Cyber Monday this year. Artie's introduced to Mona.
Oh, jeez, what a jerk I am. I can't fix your car over the internet.
Nothing I can do.
Oh, well, what a jerk.
Oh, well. Can't do an oil check. Bunch of dummies. I'm Artie D'Angelo. Oh.
I really don't like Artie D'Angelo.
I don't like him either. I kept thinking, like, this is the guy some big star is going to... Artie D'Angelo stinks.
He made Mike Taylor seem like, when it comes to confidence around ladies, like Lorenzo Lamas.
No kidding.
Like, he is...
No kidding. I'm riding a Harley with long hair.
This girl who likes me doesn't like me, I don't think. Why would she like me? Come on, man.
Hey, yeah, meet me there. We're just going to have a nightcap. Why don't you go with me?
Yeah.
Man, I'd rather sleep with my ruffles. Stupid Artie D'Angelo. So Artie's introduced to Mona, and immediately he has lost the ability to make any sense at all. Just blah, 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 just nothing. And he makes a hasty retreat to his cabin.
And they'll never meet again.
I was hoping that'd be it.
That would be great.
Sayonara, Artie.
Yeah, that'd
You
be
just hear a
great.
splash in the background. Whatever.
I mean, that guy's got access to plenty of car garages. He can take care of it.
Yeah.
So,
You hear peeling out. Artie.
well, they
Well, what's that? Yeah.
So after, in the midst of the introduction and leaving of Artie, right?
Yeah.
Is Gopher the only one working? Because
It's
everyone
funny
else
you
is
say that.
standing right there. People are walking back and forth, and Gopher's nowhere to be found. So Gopher is running the entire boat by himself.
I think it's a pick your own room type situation, except for Wally and Alex.
Well, Mona finally got out of there. Mona sails with us every year. The princess loses millions. So.
Yeah. We clear out the boat. It's only her and 2 other storyline. Only 8 guest stars on this cruise.
That's why she had to go to dinner with those important ship executives to make up for the mistakes.
Yeah, that was.
I know. I have all the notes that you're going to hate Stooping for this week. So.
Welcome aboard, Wally Fontaine and Alex Lambert. Wally sees Julie and tells Alex that Julie's in love with him. He walks up to Julie and says, "Hi, doll. What's your sign?" Number 1, show Julie some respect. You haven't even been on this boat for like 30 seconds and you're already showing signs of disrespect towards Julie McCoy. Just saying. She says, "Julie McCoy, cruise director." And I wrote, "Good for you. Be confident, Julie."
Yeah.
And I wrote, "Well, hopefully she'll keep that confidence for the next 44 minutes.
Yeah. This is one of the things that I talked about where it's like the storyline teetered back and forth a lot. But yeah, because again, she came in with a lot of confidence. Did she make it out of the scene with that same level?
No, she didn't. So they're in Fiesta Deck Room 264. They both stare at Julie as they walk up the stairs, creepily, in my opinion. And Julie says, "Deep down, I bet they're wonderful people." And I wrote, her confidence lasted maybe 40 seconds. Confidence gone.
Gopher called her a sap, which is great.
Just like, you dummy.
I like when Adam Arkin, not his father, Adam Arkin gets on the boat and he's like he comes in hot, right? Even before they start hitting on Julie. Yeah. It's like, "Oh my God, this is so much better than the brochure." I just like the dynamic of those two sitting down on the brochure and deciding to go on this cruise, which is like, really, like the only person they're hitting on is staff. Like, what was the thought there? We're going to do this.
Why don't you just unpack first? You know what I mean? The first person you see. Plus,
the beach.
Well, here's the thing. Where were they from? Because, we live in a world with no accents in the Love Boat, so we don't really know where people are from. Are they local to L.A.?
I think based on pizza, they're either from New York or Chicago. So I'm going to guess Chicago. That's my official guess. Although it wasn't deep dish, it was anchovy.
That's what I'm saying. If it's pizza logic, I'm thinking it's going to be like New York, New Jersey.
They didn't give an area code on that very real phone number they gave later. So Adam Arkin was definitely from either Chicago or New York.
Wally Oklahoma City.
Wally Fontaine had a more everyman accent. So
I thought Alex had more of a El Paso type accent myself. We never know. Also, anchovy pizza is my favorite topping on a pizza. And it's like, nobody else likes anchovies. Oh, you can get them on the side. I'm like, it's not the same thing. I don't want a cup of fish. I want anchovies on pizza. The people run from it.
I don't know if the place is still around, but years ago we used to get a Godfather pizza that had all the things, including anchovies, and it was excellent.
Yeah. Well, it's just a little thing of salt. It's delicious.
You can't have it all the time.
No. Here comes Ralph and Dottie Warren. It's their anniversary. Ralph and Dottie Warren are little people. We talked about before. We see Doug Warren arriving with Ralph and Dottie's bags. and the assault of short puns has begun.
Yeah. I'm not sure what was worse, the short puns or the follow-up. Who said that? Did somebody say that? For example, it would be like, I can't remember. Like, hey, Gopher, could you get my bag? It's the small this or that. Who said small? Who said that?
Who said small?
Yeah, it would be a lot of that.
And
I was
did
very
like a
concerned
Popeye
that we were just
face
going to be
too.
doing that all day.
He did like a Popeye face. Who said that? Was that like a catchphrase for him or something?
Ah, cha cha cha.
Or maybe he was trying to launch it. Yeah, that was his dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, really, I almost feel like lately they write Act 5 first, and then they try to back into it, and so they knew that's what they had at the end.
They're filming the scenes in reverse.
Yes.
Well, everything worked out.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's like Memento.
The hard part's done.
Mm-hmm. Enter Beth Donaldson advertising. Apparently Doug and Beth see each other in the elevator often. Let me just say this. Beth is very eager to see more of Doug on this cruise from the get-go. It's the first time they've ever spoken. She very happily agrees to see Doug later, and Doug leaves with the bags. More importantly, she doesn't see Doug standing next to Doug's parents.
Right. So, a couple things. First of all, they work in the spelling building, which I thought was a nice...
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Touch. Doug works on the 16th floor. He's a stockbroker. And then on the 25th floor is advertising, and that's where Beth works.
Okay.
I, as someone who has led the charge in hating the fact that everybody's from LA in this thing, I actually like this. This makes sense. Yeah, you're in the same neighborhood or whatever, but it's like you kind of know them, but you don't. There's an air of mystery there and everything. Mm-hmm. I actually like that. No points taken for being from LA and working in the same building. I actually really, that didn't even feel like a coincidence. That's just a nice, like, I could see that happening in life. I mean, not to me. I'm never going to look at anybody in the elevator, but.
But I don't think they live in LA. And I say
that would be ridiculous. Why would you say that?
Because they don't really have a lot of big buildings like that in LA.
What about the Yakut?
Yeah, maybe they have a few, but when I think buildings that tall, I never think LA.
I mean,
I don't know.
You tell me the spelling building. What about Clark Tyler's buildings?
Yeah, you make a good point.
There's two.
I stand corrected.
Skyline
Nakajimi Towers.
We have LA guests. Get
yeah, we need to get some LA guests. We have a caller on line 4. Let's see. It's the time for the ticker tape shot, Mike. No more close-ups, but they do. This scene took a lot longer than it should have, and they showed this nice aerial view of the princess, which is great. Not really necessary. As I'm trying to track all of the happenings in an episode, I'm like, all right.
We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. When you're doing stock footage in the first act, it's not good. It's not a good indication. And yes, the stock footage looks nicer than it did last year.
Absolutely.
But it's also less personal or relevant. Like, get me some of them stooping action shots, man. Come on.
Hey, we haven't seen him operating anything this year. Even a little, no sticks, no walkie-talkie.
I think they've almost given up the pretense that he has to drive the boat. Like they just.
And I don't think he gave a 2-finger salute this episode.
No, he was too busy cock blocking poor
Artie
D'Angelo.
God. For the second episode in a row. Oh, remember the blind woman?
Like, Stewing's not getting any action. Nobody's getting any action.
Nobody's sleeping tonight. Stupid. Wally and Alex are unpacking. And let me ask you this. I was thinking about this. When you're on a trip, how long does the trip have to be in order for you to unpack?
Probably a week.
A week, really?
Well, okay. Or let me say this. Yeah. or if I'm traveling with my wife. When I would go into work for like a 4 or 5 dayer, I generally don't unpack, and it's mainly because I'm worried about leaving stuff behind.
Makes sense.
I kind of like things go out, things go in, things get separated, but generally I work out of the bag, and that's mainly just so I don't forget stuff.
That's weird because I travel when I'm traveling for work. I travel like Allen Iverson, which means I don't bring anything with me.
Yeah, I pack very light.
I have nothing. I got nothing on me. I buy it all there. Then when I'm done, I just leave it there.
There you
go on to the next city.
Like Kane and Kung Fu.
That's right. That's right. Take the pee from my hand or the new jacket. Either way. I would say it's got to be like at least 2-3 days, probably 3 days.
What point in your life would you and a guy friend, have just decided to get the brochures out and hit the high seas for like 4 days? It just seems like such an odd. It's always weird to me when men between the ages of 18 and 25 are on this boat. It's just so
I don't know.
Odd.
Because I have to assume they're on this boat for one reason.
Right. This is not the place.
But these two, they didn't even, like, you didn't even see them interact with anyone else.
Nobody else.
Like, why did you come on a cruise? Like, you could have accosted somebody at home.
What happens if they, like, if Julie is in the back when they come on the boat? Like, what happens?
Gopher.
Are they hitting on Burl?
They're going to be all over Gopher. I don't know what's going to happen. But it's, I don't know. It's funny. It's like, guys, chill out, man. Chill out. Wally and Alex are unpacking. Doug makes fun of Alex for bringing a hairdryer, the same one that Joe Namath uses, by the way. A bet is made. Wally says he can get Julie to fall for him first. Started at 1,000, went to 500, went to 12. I don't know how it went to 12. Why would it go to 250?
The $12 line delivery was pretty funny, though. It was. I actually think Wally was very good.
Yeah.
Wally was much better than Alex.
He was way smoother.
Yeah, it was.
It's funny. This looks like a word problem on like an SAT question. Like, what was the bet? 1,005. You're like, what's wrong here? 1,512. And it came down to a pizza with anchovies. Again, my favorite pizza. Mike, how much was a one-topping pizza in 1978?
Oh, my God.
Because I was trying to figure out what's the value of the bet.
It's not $12. I'll tell you that. $4.95.
$7 is the average price of a one-topping pizza.
Actually, a little higher than I thought. I could get, when I was a kid, the pizza place across the street from us, 3 large pizzas for $11.
Wow! On a certain day, or was that always?
Every day. Shout out Italianos.
Oh,
we had fire, police, rescue, Italianos on the speed dial. The grandparents were way lower.
Now, let me say, was it good pizza or was it just a lot of pizza?
Probably more the latter, but I always remember it being good pizza. But I always remember when I moved and was out on my own, especially once I got out of college, it was like, wait, I can't get 3 pizzas for $11. I think it's really what fostered my love of quantity over quality. So
it makes. Would you rather have these 3 amazing slices or
dinner for a month?
3 large pizzas. That is true. You make a good point. Artie D'Angelo sitting at the outdoor bar. What does he order? A screwdriver, because he is on vacation. And that's a pretty basic. I can't imagine ever ordering a screwdriver.
That's a good pool drink. It's the day, right? It's basic.
It's a lot of like phlegmy. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of.
I guess he doesn't have like acid reflux problems.
He had it removed. His goiter. Yeah.
Well, it's all the carburetor fumes.
He's immune to everything. That's why he's. Yeah.
Why is he on the cruise?
I don't know. I have no idea, and that's a great question. I didn't even think of that.
It's
usually there's something. Oh my!
I think there should be a rule When you're on
gotta
by yourself,
have a reason.
I need a sentence. I just need anything. I'm getting away from it. That's all you have to say. But
I bet you if somebody had asked him, why are you on the cruise, this is what Artie would have done. What, you mad? Why are you mad at me? I could leave. Do you not want me here?
Pressured into going on the boat.
I can jump off. Like, I don't.
We have a 45-minute explanation of Isaac is telling me he's a former mechanic, but we don't know why Artie's on the boat by himself.
Well, wouldn't a better question from Mona been not what do you do, but what brought you on this cruise? Doesn't that seem like a more organic question?
They
it's just
really
weird.
Run unless you are packing a large framed photo of a dead loved one. They very rarely give you the explanation for a one person. I don't need it for a couple. I don't need it for a group. As odd as it is, the guys like Alex and Wally are on the boat. Whatever, I get that. They're trying to get some what I don't know.
I don't know. We don't even know what.
They should have been chasing Mrs. Roper's or Mrs. Brooks, but
she would have been chasing. Yeah, it's just that it defies logic.
But I don't need those explanations. But I do need the explanation for the single person who is they do a terrible job of positioning him as like a grease monkey. But like I think they were going for he's just a guy, just a working class guy.
He's fish out of water.
Yeah. But they didn't
do anything. There's nothing. Right. You would also think like if someone's coming on the cruise, what brings you on the cruise? Like something to give. There's zero depth to Artie D'Angelo. All we know is he has no confidence. He owns multiple garages. He was Isaac's former mechanic, and he's a Lakers fan. Great.
And he plays poker with the boys.
Poker with the boys. Okay. That's good. That's good, Artie.
This episode stinks.
This episode's terrible. I can't even root for Artie D'Angelo. There's nothing to root for.
Why is it not?
What are you doing?
Why is it not?
It stinks.
Forget coming on the boat. He is the boat mechanic. And he bumps into her.
A little R&R.
Something. And you can have most of the same stuff, but he's the boat mechanic, and it's a rags to riches, Prince of the Pauper, all that crap. It's like...
Or he's her driver, and they arrive, and she gets stood up, and she's like, well, I don't want this ticket to go to waste. Here you go. It's something.
Interesting. Yeah. Something. Not this. Because he's... I would assume if you own 10 garages in the Los Angeles area, you're doing pretty well for yourself. Laker tickets, even in 1978, are not cheap.
Well, he does not come across, number one, as business savvy in any way, shape, or form. He's just this wet tissue of a person that's just like, are you hungry? Why are you? Like, what? Where's your confidence, Artie DeVito?
I don't think he even wanted these. I don't think he even wanted these extra garages. He just got them foisted upon him. So.
He's just, like he should have been like, well, I'm the minority owner. I own 33% or something. He's so meek. He's terrible. Just awful. So he's ordering a screwdriver. Of course, he's going to order a screwdriver because he's a mechanic, right?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I didn't even put that
together. Now. I thought they were playing. Roulette. Well, what the hell was Romance Roulette? I thought they were playing Romance Roulette.
I'm just a simple working guy. Give me, a screwdriver and a container of coffee. You won't hear anything from me.
I'm just sitting on a beam.
Yeah. I'm already working class. Don't worry about me. Just so dumb. So turns out Artie was Isaac's old mechanic. What? Now he owns a chain of garages. They jam this little bit of information, just like, here you go, just here. It made no sense. There was no reason to
whatever. We get the name of the business later, so look for that in the merch store.
Oh, that's true. I don't know if I wrote down the name of that business.
I got it when we get to it.
Because I was over Artie's bullshit for.
I was all about the information. I was not about any of the actual.
God, I hate Artie. Mona Maxwell walks up, orders one of Isaac's notorious pina coladas, and by notorious, I think she means not very pina colada like. If that's, I don't know if that's a synonym for notorious, but these are the worst looking pina coladas. It looked like dishwater with like a little bit of like shaving cream floating on top. It was awful.
I miss when we would get, we've talked about this before, but I miss when we would get like a special drink every week.
Yes. Whiskey sour kicked off this whole thing, and there's 3 or 4
drinks in this episode. They go back to the pina coladas at one point. Just give me something else.
Have a Mai Tai. Anything. Just something.
Anything.
I blame Isaac. I don't think we've never seen him make anything. You just pour stuff. Everything's pre-made. It's weird. Mona says hi to Artie. Artie gives a very awkward hello back. Surprise, surprise. And after this happened, Doc pretty much jumps on him like Tigger jumps on Winnie the Pooh. It's like standing on him. Yeah, just woohoo. Artie says she's been my idol for years, and I'm just an ordinary schmo.
What's Doc's angle here? Like, why is Doc getting so involved in this? He's like,
well, not even that. They're all pushing this. Like, Artie D'Angelo has no personality. Like, if I had to describe his personality in a color, it would be oatmeal. Like, it's just a nothing. So, Doc's like, oh, you should ask her. And Isaac, oh, I'll make this happen. Why?
Yeah.
Why would she want to hang out with this dullard?
Yeah. Doc, the medical guy on the boat this week, was busy trying to fix up a mechanic and at one point delivered a cake. That's all your doctor did this week.
Yeah, what are you doing? So Isaac brings Mona her pina colada. And I said I saw nothing notorious about that pina colada. I just put my own note in there because it did not look very good. And Isaac asked Mona if she'd have dinner with Mr. D'Angelo. Oh. I'm just cringing because I've been in that spot before where somebody else asked somebody else out. Like, I didn't say to do it, but they did it because they thought that's what I wanted. And it's just mortifying to watch somebody else go through it. Just, ugh. Mona says, I'd be delighted. She actually looks delighted. She takes off her sunglasses. Sunglasses, Mike, in 1978. Look at this trendsetter.
We were lousy with sunglasses because I think Billy Barty had some on later.
Yeah.
So
it's odd.
Either we were on the cutting edge of sunglass technology at that point when we brought it up a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or the other possibility is these things are shot so far out of order at this point. So
I prefer the first option. Like that puts a little extra giddy up, in me personally. I would go with the first one. That one.
There you go.
She takes off her sunglasses and flashes that Mona Maxwell movie star smile to Artie. And I'm sure you can almost hear Artie in the background gulping. Gulp.
Oh, geez.
What am I going to do?
Dinner.
Oh, let me go iron my ruffles. Ugh. Wally and Alex are jogging around the ship. It's odd to see somebody jogging when nobody else is jogging. And they're about to jog indoors.
It's our third jog, I think. We had...
the weird runner. Remember the weird one? The lady.
The Jessica Walter, who outran Steubing and he died or somewhere.
Oh, that's right. He was under a blanket.
And Williams ran on that really small track to chase Julie down, or Julie chased him down. But
Julie chased him down.
Yeah, jogging is still way behind disco dancing in terms of fads on the boat so far. So
was this? When did treadmills come out? Is this pre-treadmill?
Oh, it's got to be pre-treadmill. Honestly, I thought this was I was surprised to hear jogging get such shine in the late 70s. I thought that was more like an 80s thing.
I'm surprised they don't have those machines with those belts. And you lean back and you hit it and it just shakes you. It makes you do the truffle shuffle, with your arms out. I want one of those. Or I was just thinking Mickey trying to Rocky chase chickens on there. I don't know why that came to my head.
Yeah.
Wally asks, they see Julie as they're jogging, and they immediately like swarm her, like those killer hornets that have
like they have
made it to America.
GPS or something.
Oh.
They need to explain better because it happened a few times in this episode. This is a big boat, and these people are always being found.
It doesn't feel like a big boat.
No,
like you're giving me these long shots, these aerial shots about, and you know, no one's checking anybody else in except for like, how are we managing this many people?
Everybody's on a slot like it's table hockey. They're all just running up and down the same hallway.
It is weird. You don't even see like giant crowd shots. Like, how does that little pool accommodate? Was it, what did they say, 600 people?
Yeah.
What? That's the only pool? I mean, even the place in Tampa had bug pool. Right? Does the Love Pool have bug pool in the back?
They got the Fiesta pool. They got the one where the lady wrote the dissertation. So that's two.
The one that's deep down, that one that they had the fight.
So that's at least two pools, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Two pools.
Two pools, 600 people. And they're not like Olympic sized pools. Like
no, the one is like a mall fountain.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Looks like an upside down mushroom. So Wally asked her what time he should pick her up for dinner and dancing. And I wish Julie would just tell these guys to like, just beat it. Just beat it. Artie tells Julie that he'll be at her cabin at 8. Julie, here we go. Agrees to go to dinner with Wally and then dancing with Alex. You're supposed to be working, Julie.
There is so little regard for personal space.
No kidding. And we see that a lot.
They both kiss her hand. I think one of them goes back for a second one.
No, remember later when he like wrestles her to the bed.
Oh, well, that's much later. Yeah,
and I'm like, what is going on this boat? And all jokes aside, was it just it had to be just much more loosey goosey about.
I mean, they
walking up to a stranger and trying to put a smooch on her. Like, it's so weird.
So we had this damn near exact storyline in episode 4 this season when it was Red Buttons.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they played that for laughs, and it was written off in a way because, it's this old harmless man. But people got more upset about that then in the show than they did about this when there's two guys of a young age who could probably handle themselves pretty well if they wanted to, basically assaulting Julie.
It's crazy.
It's and again, we just did it. This is
a
episode 10.
Too.
That was episode 4.
Yeah. So
let's leave Julie alone for a while. And this is in between that we had her as bait. Like, come on, man.
She's bait. She's this. She's getting mixed up with older men. Like, come on.
And that's why, and I think you had kind of hinted at it. That's why for a while I was optimistic because she does, for the most part, seem to be in on it and like calling these guys on their crap. But not really.
Still not how it ends.
No.
I don't want to say it. I almost said it, but I don't want to spoil it because it is sort of ridiculous.
Oh, hell yeah. We don't want to spoil these
I don't
45-year-old shows.
Yeah.
Wait around.
We don't spoil it. Ralph Dottie and Doug Warren are poolside. We begin with more short jokes. Then I heard a very weird comment from Ralph. I listened to it probably 4 times. It's at the 12-minute and 8-second mark. If you really want to see this,
is this going to be a dog jumping around the door?
It's way worse. Ralph sees the woman in the bikini exiting the pool,
which at first I was like, "Oh, we're getting another gratuitous bikini shot," because they have added those this year.
Yeah,
it does seem like. But
he says, "Quote, Mamma Mia, I'd like to be around when she reaches puberty."
Yeah, I thought I heard that too.
And I was like, I thought I heard it, and I'm like, no. Let me go back. No. I went, and it was 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, that's a really weird.
That is a weird one.
Like, I hesitated to even bring it up because it was so weird, but I'm like, I gotta.
I don't know what that was about. Like that. I mean, she obviously she was older. It wasn't like she was 10. Like, I mean.
In all fairness, he pronounced it like puberty, so maybe I'm missing
a different word.
Poverty? When she reaches poverty? I don't know. I didn't want to hear what I heard, but it was just,
Yeah. Come on, Ralph.
Yeah.
Your wife's right there, dude.
Yeah, it's just we find out that it's the Warrens' 25th anniversary. Ralph and Dottie go to play shuffleboard, but also to give Doug some space.
Doug is sporting the official Jim Stafford poolside polo shirt.
Yeah, he is. It's like it came right out. It was issued to him.
And he got some of the hair too.
Yeah. Great hair. Here comes man-hungry Beth Donaldson. Very aggressive.
She's working on that stubby, I think.
She's what, most aggressive guest?
Horn dog.
Oh, biggest without a doubt.
Right? I mean, she had her eyes on the prize immediately. So.
She wanted to have 16 kids. Remember that? So they talk. They plan to have dinner that night. Doug tells her that it's his parents' silver anniversary, and Beth says she'd love to meet her future in-laws. So I thought it was interesting. 25th is a silver anniversary.
Right.
My wife and I celebrated 10 years this year.
10?
You know what? 10. Yes.
Yeah. Don't ask me why I know that, but it's
how
10,
would you know that one?
No idea. Man. I was on a different Love Boat podcast where we talked about
and it came up. I knew it.
I
thought that was weird.
I think I just had 7. Maybe mine 5 was paper.
I think 6 is paper mache.
Right. And 7's a paper cut, right? Yeah. Oh, come on now.
Artie's getting
that Beth immediately announcing that she's aggressive does a lot of heavy lifting for the rest of the episode. We always talk about how these people jump from this to that. Everybody's in love in 5 minutes and all that stuff. Guess what? She admitted it right away. I didn't think about it the rest of the time. It never was weird to me that she was in love or they wanted to talk about kids or all these things because, boom, it's such a small thing.
Well, it's funny
it's so easy. One line covers you for the rest of the episode.
And I 100% agree with you. And I also think that added some depth to the Doug character when he sort of had to make that choice. Meaning it was a more difficult choice, could be based on her aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And the fact that like she was an attractive woman versus he couldn't sell out his parents.
It gives
a lesser man would have just sold his parents out.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Yeah. Cause we're not going to say his parents aren't taking the elevator at work.
No.
Although you don't think this building exists. So.
Well, I think they might have to take the elevator. Don't you agree?
Well, 25 floors, I think everybody's taking the elevator.
Just
no offense. So.
Forget height. Let's talk lung capacity on these little guys.
Absolutely gassed.
Artie's getting dolled up. Let me rephrase that. Boring Artie is getting dolled up for his dinner date with Mona Maxwell. Again, he's got the ruffles, the whole...
I brought one suit.
I got one suit. I got it full of ruffles. Woo. Mona shows up at his door, tells Artie that she promised to have dinner with Steubing and some bigwigs from the shipping line. This is week 2 of Steubing being a cock blocker in season 2.
So
unbelievable.
So there's 2 ways this plays out, right? One is they had made these plans. Mona forgot. Steubing's like, hey, I'll see you at 8, or maybe she just remembered. Oh crap, that's the passive version.
I get that.
2,
it's 2 before I even hear 2.
Catches her in the hallway because he's just circling the boat.
He's got nothing to do,
and he's like,
"I really need you.
Please come to dinner. These ship bigwigs are going to."
I told him you were my friend.
They found out what I've been up to this season. They're going to get rid of me.
Yeah. Maybe it's Skarsgård. Maybe he's back.
Oh, that would be great if it was Skarsgård. Cool. I assume it's the people that he later cock blocks Artie with in the hallway.
They just didn't look like cruise line people.
They should have had a big sash that said
cruise line people. Cruise Line People 1 and 2 with big wigs on.
Big wig.
Yeah, I was like, why didn't she mention this? But yeah, but that's a good point. Maybe she did.
I'm giving a little for this one.
Fair enough.
But no, you are not out of bounds on any of your stupid takes this week. I'm gonna.
I appreciate that.
So.
I'm trying to be realistic about my assessment of him on a episode by episode basis, but he's not helping himself.
Less and less occupied with ship business.
He doesn't do anything like captain-like.
It's been a while. It's been. So the other couple weeks ago, he mentioned he had to get back to the bridge, but he stayed for cake.
He doesn't.
Like, when's the last time he actually had ship? He was booking Vincent Price. He was chasing down Billy Crystal. Like, when's the last time?
Billy Crystal.
I guess the fight was the last time he tried
when he
to
got
captain
hit
it up
and did a complete 360 on his heel and fell into
in
a woman's
between
arms.
his uncle, molesting Julie. So.
Yeah, between that and just letting it go.
Not to mention
Julie, have dinner with him.
Not to mention last week when he made poor Tony miss Thanksgiving. Abagans.
Yeah, not a good look. Not a good look.
He's having a worse season.
Somehow, I really thought he would get better.
I don't know.
He really is getting worse.
I don't know if because it was like double figures now I started to think about it because we're not halfway through. There's 25 episodes this season.
Right.
We're not halfway through. We will be in a bunch of guests when we're hitting the halfway point. So we might not have an official conversation about it, but I would say this is a significantly worse season than last year.
Oh, what was it? Not 34, 33? Remember how bad episode 33 was? Like the hair lengths were different. Like you could tell it was out of sequence.
That's the current leader for worst episode. And that beat out the Red Buttons one.
Yeah.
Which, it's like by this time last year, we didn't even have a category of worst episode.
No.
So we didn't even know they had to have it.
It is weird. Like I know they brought in those, the continuity experts. Where they asleep for 44 minutes?
I probably will save it for a couple weeks from now, or we'll kind of venture. But my first viewing of this, we've been monitoring Julie's hair, not in terms of appearance, but more in terms of continuity.
Mm-hmm.
It had kind of jumped all over the place a little bit, and I was ready to kind of come on here and say, okay, I think there were a couple episodes that it was longer. This feels like they probably are in the growing out and they'll catch up, linear on the way. A couple of weeks from now, the linear time gets blown out of the water.
We are on short hair again. Her hair shrinks. We are on
to something here, my friend.
Where her hair starts shrinking in a few episodes again?
It basically goes back to season 1, Julie, and then like 2 episodes later it goes to long. It's wild.
What is going on?
I think they shot these things completely out of order, and it's more.
But why?
And here's the other thing. It comes up a little bit on this episode. We've talked about it a lot of times in the past.
Yeah.
This is another small set episode.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I think there's. It's not just the Julie hair thing, although I do think they're in concert. It is these sets that go from the hurricane, right, where they're all filing out of the dining room, to what we're used to.
Yeah.
And this was another small set episode.
Interesting.
So I don't know if they had to shoot a bunch of them in the summer because, you have guest stars that aren't available or what it is. But I'll be curious to plot it out because I feel like in the next 5 episodes, I think the graph is all over the place. So
I wish they had like the film date, the date it was filmed as part of the information for the episode.
I'm sure if we actually wanted to look, we could probably find like just in general that like, the Love Boat would always shoot their episodes out of order in order to get guest stars.
But seasons out of order. That's the weird thing when you're going but then you got to wonder what's the quality like on an episode that got pushed that far into season 2 from season 1.
I'm also impressed. if that is the case.
Right.
I'm also impressed because we saw it in season 1 where like Julie was wearing one outfit and then she'd walk inside wearing a different outfit. I'm impressed they haven't they do seem to
I haven't seen that yet. Yeah.
They do seem to at least like film the whole episode at once. They're not like shooting. Remember at one time we thought maybe the storylines were just kind of chopped up.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the role of the continuity person. Maybe we're not thinking of it in the right terms. Maybe it's just per episode instead of like linear.
I wasn't even looking for it. I was getting ready for upcoming episodes, and the screen cap of an upcoming episode, which is like 2 episodes away, had Julie in her season 1 hair. And I'm like, I know weird. She doesn't end the season like that. So it's not a haircut. So yeah, it will be interesting to track. We're definitely on to something.
Maybe it's a wig. They sell Julie season 1 wigs. We have them at the
merch store?
At the merch store. Well, Halloween is approaching.
But that's not our biggest wig seller. The biggest wig seller, of course, is dark hair flashback stooping.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it's colored with soy sauce.
Or the John Aston hostage wig.
Oh, that's a good. It also will even sell you a toy shotgun full of sand. Act now.
You can also get the Barbie Benton perfect nose.
Mm-hmm. Just in time for the holidays.
By the way, since this is November 25th, right?
Yeah.
We have like 3 or 4 episodes that air in December. Does not appear that anything is demarked as a Christmas episode, but very excited to see if I can wear that hat and sweat my ass off again.
Just start sweating. It'll be closer to Christmas at least this year.
Yeah, I think we did it in the summer last year, so we're a little
It was fun to watch the sweat beading.
Like these studio lights, man.
Through.
These
it is.
Studio lights.
It is. I got these gels. Yeah, I hear you. Artie's getting dolled up. We talked about stooping 2 episodes in a row, being a feed blocker. Mona asks Artie for a rain check, and he agrees because that's all he can do because he has no spine and no confidence. Artie's not taking this well, and this is where I would rewrite this episode. All right. This is where the episode turns. In my episode, this is where he swears revenge on Steubing. And it becomes like the vengeance boat. Yeah. But Artie doesn't have the confidence to pull that off. So
yeah, I think I definitely have oh, look, I do. I have a note. Artie should have buried the captain in the back of a 1978 Dodge.
Perfect. Same. Yeah, absolutely. Artie is now going to murder Steubing. Yeah.
We're starting to lean into these act break, like dramatic act break things too. And so he's like, such a jerk, I guess, at himself. And then they just go to commercial.
He could have had like looking in the mirror. You know what I mean? Just berating himself.
No one tells Artie D'Angelo they can't make it to dinner.
Captain Stupid. More like
Captain Cake.
I don't know. Kind of a little Captain Cake and Donut at 3. Good Lord. We see Alex Lambert sitting at the bar. Clearly, this is where the dancing portion of the evening will take place based on, it is a crazy scene. That place is hopping.
Oh, we're back at Funky Town again.
We're back at Funky Town again.
Yeah, they at least it's a different. It's not the same funky song.
No, it's not the same funky song. They know 4 funky songs. That's it. I think this is because it's a vinyl.
Funk jams too.
Funk jams.
So you think you can funk.
Minus slow sax. Well, he's not. It's just us.
Yeah, there's no Jimmy Warren this week.
No Jimmy Warren. Is the jamming one. He asked Gopher, if Julie had ever told him what turns her on. Again, a really weird. Maybe I'm just
no.
And Gopher says, "Yeah, Warren Beatty." Wah, wah, wah. I had to look it up. I wasn't sure if his last name was 1 T or 2. It is 2 T's.
Yeah.
For any of you wondering the same thing.
Warren Beatty really against type for Julie, though.
I mean, older, said, like, right?
Richard Gielgud.
No kidding. Sir Alec McGuinness.
Hello there.
That would have been.
I would watch an episode.
I would. Sir Alec McGuinness.
God, that would be so good.
Mm-hmm. You too could learn the ways of the.
The cruise directors always travel in pairs, side by side.
Oh, these blaster marks are way too precise. They could be heading
Run,
home.
run, Julie, run.
Wally and Julie are entering the bar area. Julie thanks Wally for dinner. Wally says, "How can you go from champagne and caviar to chopped liver?" Oof.
The back and forth with the guys was good.
Fine. It's fine.
It just, that's all it was.
There was nothing else.
Like, I don't know what it should have been. I mean, I have ideas for later, but like in terms of this, it was like they just needed, like, I don't know, anything else that wasn't this like zinger fest.
I didn't feel like they were friends.
Yeah, because there's like needling your friends, and this quickly became less about Julie and more about the bet, right?
I mean, couldn't this be two guys, right? Don't know each other. Yeah. They're in the same room. That both, like, you could have the same scenario play out.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Because there was nothing endearing about their relationships. I just thought that Wally and Alex were both scumbags, and they just leave Julie alone, man.
Right. It's like most of these things where they, and again, I think this is probably where we don't have the context of the time.
Yeah.
The time was wrong, but we don't have the context of it where it was like people didn't even think that they had to give you something else, right? This wasn't not endearing in 1978.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wonder if it would. No, I could see them just, this totally went over in 1978. I think it would have been, you know what I mean? It was totally fine.
Yeah. But I feel like at this point, again, it kind of goes up and down. But at this point, when Julie kind of does the handoff between the two guys, I do feel like she knows what's up. Like she knows the score. Julie's not getting.
So why waste your time? Because she enjoys the attention? Because that's the thing I don't get too. I came to the same conclusion you did, but then I'm like, okay,
blow off the passenger.
I don't
know.
I don't either. That's the thing that got me, because I was like, well, if she knows it, isn't it just about attention? Which may be kind of sad because Juliet isn't the most confident.
But it can't just be about attention. I mean, listen here, for the dinner and dancing thing, yeah, I think it probably is, because she can eat with Gopher again. Right. Like that, I understand.
Right.
And to be fair, the rest of the trip, they're catching her in hallways and doing stuff. So
that's true.
So maybe, maybe.
Alex replies, "The Mercy date is over for the evening. Your Prince Charming is here." And Wally leaves. Alex goes on to talk to Julie, saying Wally's miserable. He wanted to bring his fiancée, but she had to work. I bought this cruise for him as a wedding present. These are ambush words here. Like, this isn't a jolly good gentleman's bet for over a pizza.
Yeah, they're just straight up lying.
Like, they're acting like it's for $1,000, like it's a valuable bet. But it's a $7 bet.
The thing is, too, it's like, it's insulting. Do you think the cruise director is some vapid idiot who's going to buy this nonsense? Like,
because she's a woman?
Right.
I mean, that's the whole 1978 part of it. It's just sort of weird.
It's just,
and the comeuppance, like you always say.
We talk about it every time, but it is no different than you boarding a plane with your buddy and seeing the stewardess and deciding that you're going to have a pizza bet to see who can woo her. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
There's not a lot of respect.
No.
For
it's also
Julie.
pretty cocky on your part, Alex and Wally, that you think you're such cocksmen that you're going to be able to, like.
Good Lord.
How about this? How about neither of you end up with her? So
just go for somebody, like, just meet other people. It's just that
book something else.
I agree. Julie said, "Well, Wally told me that he paid for your trip." And they go dancing. dancing. The word dancing. I see Mona is dancing. I don't know what the hell Steubing's doing out there. Steubing looks like he's in pain. And he's talking about, who invented this? And, all the guy who does, he looked completely ridiculous out there.
The producers of this show, in between season 1 and season 2, were like, what do we need to do to improve our ratings and really make season 2 a banger? And they were like, more Meryl Steubing dancing. That's what we need.
Just
he's
terrible.
A lot this season.
He is dancing a lot this season.
He danced last week with the blind lady. He danced 2 weeks ago with Gopher's sister. Pretty sure he danced in the Halloween episode.
Just looking like a lunatic out there. Like, no.
Knock it off, man. You know what you should be dancing with? The steering wheel.
There you go. Get up, get nice and close. Enjoy a slow jam with the steering device, sir. Gopher cuts in. And remember last week what we learned about the Steubing rule of cutting in?
Yeah.
This violates that rule. Either way, Gopher did cut, and Gopher looks even more ridiculous dancing. And they showed him a lot. Now, there's an additional cut scene.
Yeah.
Like, he looked like he was just goofing. But that's why I was like, is this a serious? Anyway, it just looked.
But it kind of happened, like, the Danny Terrio thing at least was like, okay, it's Danny Terrio, right? But, like, this dancing that we're getting this season.
Sick of the dancing.
It's all padding.
It is.
It's padding.
It's another long shot is all it is.
They go back and forth to something like that with lines. It's padding. Come on now.
It's too much.
Yeah.
We see Artie sitting at the bar. Of course, he's moping at the bar. Doc, again, pounces on him like Tigger. Says he heard the dinner date was canceled. Good. You don't have anything to do, Doc?
Where did you hear this?
Like, what do you... CNN? Like, who?
I didn't like this version of Doc. We don't get this version of Doc.
Doting.
Like,
Doc's got better things to do.
Either be Dean Martin or be chasing ladies, or just don't even be in this one. But I don't like this, like, Doc the matchmaker.
I didn't like him. I disliked him last episode more than this episode. Remember last week he was just like, I think she's blind. I need to expose this to the entire world.
Inserting himself in.
Like, can we just get back to Doc? I don't know what that's odd. Artie's feeling sorry for himself as Gopher continues his bizarre dancing with Mona. All right. We see Ralph and Dottie Warren at the bar. Steubing approaches, and you get another short pun that ends in a Popeye face.
Court.
Smart. What? Who said that?
Yeah.
Doug and Beth have arrived. Beth looks at Ralph and Dottie and says, I didn't know that children were allowed at the bar.
No, Beth.
Why would you say children? Why would you say children?
Well, the only thing they didn't really establish it is they should have done, this would have probably cost too much money to have another camera. They should have shot him from behind, although Billy Barty looks pretty old from behind too. But
yeah,
I don't think that was an insult at first. Because if it was, I would have thought they would have done like a, elbow, like, you know what I mean?
Or maybe you just get another camera and you put it on the floor and shoot up. And it's a cruise full of giants. You know what I mean? And Billy Barty's a normal sized man.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah. The tallest ship in the Pacific. Doug says they like to be called little people. Trying to clean this thing up a bit for Beth. No, that's not. Doug tries to bring Beth over to meet his parents. She doesn't know that those are his parents at this point.
Right.
And she's having none of it, and she just pulls him out of the bar area. Like, what's he going to do? Some aggressive woman is he pulling? Okay.
Well, when we get out on the deck, like, and she keeps going,
she keeps going.
He made a decision. He made a business decision. He's like, you know what? I will combat your heightism tomorrow.
Yeah, later.
Now it's smooch time.
Yeah, I wrote Beth goes in for a smooch, and seemingly Doug forgets that his parents are little people. Yeah. Parents? What?
It's not the most offensive thing she could have said, but She kind of is. She's a heightist.
So she's a heightist.
Yeah.
So it's funny. So before they go to that shot of them on deck, meaning Doug and Beth, there was another clip of Gopher and Mona, right? Oh. After the scene where Doug and Beth are on deck, it cuts back to Mona and Gopher dancing again for the third time. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is... I said nobody needed to see this again. Like,
because a lot of times, like, I'm looking down to write a note or something like that. So sometimes I miss the quick cuts like that. That's ridiculous. That's egregious.
Oh, it's completely egregious.
This episode should have been called Padding. Paddington Boat.
Paddington Boat. Write that down. Paddington Boat. Boy, they just write themselves, don't they?
Oh, mama.
No. Oh, bother. Also, how does that thing get clean? What thing, Mike? Paddington Bear. If you're Paddington Bear and you're sticking your paw into a jar of marmalade,
right?
How are you going to unsticky?
He eats it.
Yeah, but it's still going to have like a basis of sticky on that little paw, wouldn't you think?
He dumps it in a thing of water or something.
Maybe he's a thief. That's what he does. That's how he sticks to shillings. He just like they stick to his hand. Oh, bummer.
Feed the birds.
Oh,
can you tell how much we love this episode?
This episode stinks. Oh, and as we were saying before, there's so many camera cuts. No, there's not.
It's another
but there's
one of those
4 more pages.
It's like we're just going to start repeating scenes again.
Yeah, we're just gonna. Yeah. Artie's still at the bar. Comments to Doc about how good of a dancer Mona is. Doc tells him to go cut in. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Artie's not the cutting in type. Artie tells Doc to drop it. Then he starts talking about how amazing Mona danced in one of her movies, but he doesn't know Mona's right behind him. She asks him to dance, and a shocked Artie agrees. Artie doesn't look like a guy that could cut a rug.
No, not at all. No, he does not strike me as graceful. Plus, again, he's supposed to be this mechanic.
Yeah.
If he's an entrepreneur, then make him an entrepreneur. If he's a mechanic, make him a mechanic.
Keep him, like, make his hands dirty. Like, keep his hands nice and greasy, the whole thing. Oh, you need to, don't cry. He pulls out, like, a greasy rag. Like, just play it up.
Have Artie on his ruffles, like a name tag.
Yeah, oh, yeah, like cursive. Absolutely.
You are right, though. He should have wiped a tear away with this a grease stain.
He's got, like, a jumpsuit, one of those, like, work suit things on. Absolutely. Nice suit with, what are those, construction boots? What is going on? Well, what do mechanics wear on their feet? Is there a specific shoe a mechanic wears?
Like workman boots?
Like work boots?
I don't know, sandals?
I don't know. Flip-flops? Or those flip-flops where they would stick to the bottom of your feet and there was no strap. Remember those?
Oh, you know what they wear? They wear jellies.
Jellies. Or barefoot. One or the other.
Yeah.
Hydraulic presses. Barefoot. That's terrible, man. Alex and Julie are walking outside. Alex goes in for a very aggressive smooch. I don't like Alex. I'm going to be honest. I do not like Alex.
Right? Like in real life, he's in prison.
I believe so.
Okay. Because he's very aggressive.
Yeah.
Way more than Wally.
Maybe we didn't see.
Well, I think Wally's
dinner
the guy that kills you and hides your body.
Oh, smell this rag
Artie
kind of thing.
D'Angelo's garage.
Yeah.
So.
Like Alex is going to punch you.
Right.
But like Wally's going to like put you to sleep with a rag and then kill you.
Wally Fontaine is the original Dexter.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The problem is when you wake up and Alex is in full clown makeup. You know, I can see that as well. It's just a hot mess. Julie's not having any of this. She says, close your eyes and count to 5 and then wrap your arms around her and give her a kiss. And she leaves when he gets to 2. He says, it's just dumb. And Wally sees this going on.
I was very excited at this point because I thought, okay, Julie's going to be one step ahead of these idiots. Going to get some justice.
Yeah.
But as we've mentioned, doesn't quite make it to the
It
end.
doesn't. That's why it's so much. It's so disappointing what happens.
What would have been
mm,
hilarious, and if this show was better, they
yeah.
would have done it. Julie does the 5 thing. She walks out. Adam Arkin's got his lips out, and Billy Crystal comes out and smooches.
Oh,
That would have made everything better.
bravo.
But I would never complain again.
No. I'd be good with that because I'd be
For
like, well, I know they have that in them. You never know.
Exactly.
Mona and Artie are smooching as they walk down the hall where the cabins are. She says he's a great dancer. Artie tells her about himself, which we've covered.
Would you like to guess the name of Artie's line of garages?
Is it Billy's?
That's
Starts with a B.
Billy's.
What was it? Was it Artie's something? What was it? No, yeah, I do. I can't remember what it was.
Tune-Up Town.
Tune-Up Town. That's a great name, Artie.
Yeah.
Something tells me he didn't come up with that. 3 things you need to know about Artie. We've covered before. He owns garages. He plays poker with the boys, and he goes to Laker games. Mona's also a fan of the Lakers. Sorry. I would imagine.
She's not a fan of their shooting, though. She's like, the Lakers need better forwards that can shoot.
Like what?
The 1978-79 Lakers starting forwards.
Yeah.
Jamal Wilkes shot 50.4% from the field.
That's not
Adrian
bad.
Dantley shot 51.7%.
You know I'm a huge Adrian Dantley fan.
I don't know.
That was pre-Pistons,
Very much pre, yeah. I don't think Mona was scouting correctly there if she thought the Lakers needed more shooting.
They didn't think anybody was paying attention. That's what it was.
On this night, November 25th, 1978, while you were watching the Love Boat, in Atlanta, the Lakers lost 109-103 to the Hawks, despite 29-16-7, 3 blocks from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Wow. Wow. No, not go Lakers. Good for them.
These aren't good Lakers, so that's okay.
That's not no.
But Mona and Artie missed. Well, that game was in Atlanta, but they're
Artie's guaranteed he's sitting nosebleed because he doesn't think he deserves a better ticket, and Mona's like front, right on the court side,
next to Jack Nicholson.
It's just they arrive at Artie's cabin. Mona tells him to invite her in for a nightcap. I love this level of guidance, by the way. This would have been, where were you, Mona, when I was in high school? Jeez. Steubing strikes again. Walks by. Oh, why don't you come for a nightcap? Blah, blah, blah. 3rd time, C blocking. 3rd time in 2 episodes this has happened.
So part of that is on Artie. You were 100% invited for a nightcap. That is kind of on you.
I think it's on Mona, to be honest with you. I think
Mona said, come.
He didn't want to come. They're about to go in there for all this stuff. Be like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. Let me go in dumb Steubing's cabin and let him, hold court. I'm just going to sit there and wait.
Steubing is serving for a nightcap in his cabin to the ship people and Mona?
Easily. I'm glad you asked me that question, Mike. I would think it would be the traditionally at sea. Drinks are served out of what's called kitty cat bowls. Oh, it is the root beer float vodka.
My private stash.
That's right.
I love a nightcap. I love everything about nightcaps. It's one of my favorite things in the world. But you don't just grab other people on the way to a nightcap. That's just not how it works.
Can you give me an example of an appropriate drink for a nightcap? Because I'm guessing it's not like a beer or like a Red Bull vodka. Right. What would be a good
drink? But I would always go with like a brown, like a drink.
Like a brown end, like what kind of?
Well, I would it depends what your drink is, right? Like I like a bourbon. I could finish a night like that. It doesn't have to be something fun. You don't want anything that's going to rev you up.
So that's what I didn't understand. I thought there might be like nightcappy drinks, after dinner drinks there are. There's those
me personally, if I was going for a nightcap, it's probably at like a quieter bar or a dive bar.
What if you were at home? What if you had one at home?
Well, I would have a house drink, and that would be like a whiskey or a bourbon or something like that. But that's for me.
Fair enough.
But nightcap to me was always we're going to a different bar on the way home, and theoretically only having one or two. So,
but in here, this is just code. That's what I'm saying. This is code. She's telling him to invite her in for a nightcap.
Yeah,
and then
where's the booze?
By.
Is there even booze in the room? Probably not. So yeah, that's just sex.
They didn't even have bottled water back then, did they?
They have hot cocoa.
They have hot cocoa, maybe some old hot cocoa. Artie goes into his cabin and he is pissed. And this is where my version of the Love Boat happens again. He's now sharpening a knife and putting on a headband like Rambo did. Like, Artie, you're not expendable. And he's just putting on he's going to dress up like a donut and sneak up on Stubing. That's what he's going to do. It's the next morning. We see Alex waking up. This is
pathetic.
Stupid.
This is pathetic.
He sees Wally's asleep, and he begins to talk in his sleep like he's hooking up with Julie. Tells Wally that he hit a home run last night, except Wally tells Alex that he saw Grand Slam home run. Wait a minute. I know what a home run is. What the hell's a Grand Slam?
If he got to first base, and he says a Grand Slam home run. So I have no idea what first base
is. His bar just low?
I have no idea what home run
is. He Amish?
What?
How do you?
What is? Okay. So first base in 1978 is, I'm assuming,
it's wild.
Smooch.
I don't even know if that registers in 1978.
Like a Grand Slam home run in 1978 must be like you went to a commune or something.
Yeah, there's a people involved with Grand Slam. I don't know how.
It's gotta be four people.
Four people. How do you get three on? What is that? The number 5 hitter, or is that number? Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Wally says, I saw what happened, and he gives Alex the phone number for a pizza place so he can pay
Pizza
off. Pizza Pete.
You can get Pizza Pete at 555-4496. A real number, no area code.
Imagine the writer's like, hey, screw you, Pete's Pizza. I'm going to give you a real number out in the Love Boat. Bet you they was just lighting it up that night, too. Who would pizza click?
Hey, can I get that Wally and Alex special with anchovies and a side of Julie? What?
Yeah, I'm so tired of these calls. Pete, I'm Pete. Pete's Pizza. Doug meets his parents. What's that?
Is that our first phone number? I don't remember ever having a number.
Seeing.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's no area code. So it's like, well.
Yeah. Well, they can't give you that level of detail.
No. I wish they would, though. That'd be great.
We love to get back home in Omaha, Nebraska.
Or give out Bernie Capel's home phone number. 14 million people are seeing it. It'd be great.
Every time they give a phone number, it's Norman Fell's house because they're still pissed.
They're trying to get a little effort. He won't even answer the phone. That's how little effort he gives. Somebody else will answer it. Doug meets his parents by the pool. He tells them that he's nuts for Beth. But then he's being a little shady. And he's like, well, don't worry if I don't show up for lunch later. But then Ralph says to his wife, Doug leaves, and Ralph says, did it ever occur to you that he might be ashamed of us? And I'm like, that was okay.
I don't think that was a leap.
Mm-hmm.
If they clearly
what it was? It was just heavy. It went from this to and I was like,
agree. Well, and this was my point, is if they had stayed in the world of short joke, puns and all that, right? But it went to the next level, and I thought handled it well.
Because the problem is the line after. So the first line was, did it ever occur to you that he might be ashamed of us? But then the following line was, just to be on the safe side, let's grow before lunchtime.
Yeah. Listen, Billy
Soften the
Barty,
blow.
he's always got to get his zingers in.
That's true. Who said that?
Can we talk about? Can we talk about Doug's shirt?
Yeah.
He is
Please.
dressed like someone in the Where's Waldo universe has died, and they're memorializing.
Yeah, he's wearing some wild stuff on this thing.
Red and white stripe, but then it has like a black stripe at the top.
It's almost like he thought he was going to fall overboard, and this would be a great thing to be seen like via helicopter in case he fell off. Yeah, it was.
Doug packed a tuxedo and some of the ugliest striped shirts you've ever seen.
Funny you mentioned that, because I do have a note in here. Something struck me as odd. How many tuxedos do you need to bring on a cruise? Like, do you rewear the same one that you're eating dinner with? You eat dinner in the same tuxedo multiple nights?
What kind of cleaning service do you think they have? Like, can you
for
get it
700 people? I don't know.
Well, they did break the dryer the other day, so
I would love to meet some of the laundry crew. Like, can we see them?
But
I don't know. That's what it like. Everyone's wearing multiple nights of tuxedos.
There's no way. There's zero chance I am packing that I even have a second tuxedo. So guess what, boat people? I'm wearing the same one.
You're wearing the same one. I mean,
yeah. Theoretically, you're not wearing it that long, right?
Yeah, but how many people own a tux? On this ship, everybody shows up with a tux. You know what the money move is?
It's more of a thing.
Or rent them on
is there one in the closet? Maybe there's one in the closet. I mean, Soupy Sales got a free one, right?
Where they made of rubber? They're just going to fit everybody that puts them on, tall, short.
Maybe it's like the tux that I wear for the stubbies.
No, that's true. It is weird, though, because I just don't think a tuxedo is an appropriate thing to wear to dinner. It's not some gala.
Yeah, but we've talked to cruise people that have said that you have to get dressed up for those dinners.
That's just... I could see it being like one night, like a special dinner night. But to see these people multiple nights in tuxedos is like...
That's by respect to, what's his name? Melissa Gilbert's dad, who wore the electric blue tuxedo.
Oh, that's true. It looked sweet. We see Artie, he's having coffee, and Isaac and Doc pretty much like assault him, trying to get details from his night with Mona. Mona walks by, tells Artie to drop dead.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Mona was not the problem with this storyline.
No. Mona's fine.
Yeah.
Artie was just a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
Wally's walking with Julie and pestering her to marry him. Wally explains that Alex hasn't been interested in women until Julie, due to an old football injury. Beth's in her cabin. This is the big one. Doug knocks and then walks into Beth's cabin. It was kind of like one of those doors kind of already opening, and she's like, come in. He's like, I'm Doug. I'm already here. I'm always here. I'm Doug. Look at my shirt.
Did you see me coming in my shirt?
She could see it through walls. That shirt's terrible. I wrote Beth is coming across as crazier and crazier. She tells him that she's in love with him. Doug says that this was all a mistake and she should forget about him. And he apologizes and leaves the cabin. And I'm like,
yeah,
principle.
Yeah.
I love it.
Now that said, he didn't have that principle last night.
No. Well, he had to,
But in the light of day, he is principled. So
it's amazing how after something like that happens, boy, you can think so straight.
Yeah.
You're just, that's not a good idea.
Yeah. See you at work.
Yeah, maybe. I take the stairs. I'm Dougie Stairs now.
16 flights.
16 flights, whatever. Isaac hands a comically large drink with a ton of garnishes and 2 straws to a pirate waitress. Arg.
Yeah, okay. Time out.
What the heck was that, man?
So this is the first new set we've had all season.
Yeah, what is this?
Actual new set. Like not a smaller version of his old set.
They smoke out the windows too. It's weird.
Zero explanation. Just all of a sudden we're at the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Looks like we're at a costume party.
Where
it
is
really
it?
does.
Isaac is dressed like a space pirate. Like, where did this come from? At first I was like, oh, it's a theme. No. This is just what looks to be a very nice bar, right? It's got that little booth in the corner.
It's funny you say Isaac, because Isaac is dressed as half owl, half human. Giant white puffy sleeves and a giant collar with a black vest.
Like,
oh, I thought he got a raise. I thought he got a promotion. Why do you got to dress like that?
Here is something to watch. As we move forward, if this set shows back up and they put a little more of a spotlight on it, then we'll definitely know this stuff's out of order. This was weird. It was too themed.
This came out of nowhere. Yeah.
It was too themed to not have an explanation.
Yeah.
It's not like it was a new bar and it's just a bar, right?
Like, what, we just have a pirate bar now?
Right. It looks like something you'd drink at the boardwalk.
Yeah, it was weird. Welcome to Arthur Treacher's, where we also serve drinks. It's
next
odd.
week, the Rainforest Cafe bar.
Or at least call it something. Right. You know what I mean? Call it hey, I'll meet you at the Blackbeard's Lounge or whatever the heck you want
to. If episode 16 has, it's pirate night. So we're gonna
know something's up. They're gonna get mail. I'm telling you what. I'm gonna light up their complaint lines at ABC.
555-4496.
It, and maybe order a pizza from Pete. So this pirate waitress brings this just gaudy drink over to Mona and Steubing, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You're the captain and you're drinking gimmick drinks?
You're making that poor woman
with this.
And you can't drink it, bub. You know you can't.
It's so shallow. They clearly poured it in just some giant clam-shaped ashtray with a couple of straws and all the remaining fruit on the bar. I was like, Steubing, come on, bro.
You know that he did that to show off. When he
look what I can do. When
Eva Gabor was like, oh, I'd like a souffle or whatever, right? He's just doing that move.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
It's just such a I'm the captain, let me whip it out move.
He's just such a but act like a man. Act like a man. You're this sea captain. That's what you're gonna drink. That's the
not gonna drink it. That's even more annoying.
Well, it just was ridiculous. Come on. Artie's sitting nearby and clearly giving the stink face to Mona. Or is he giving the stink face to Steubing?
He finally balls up though, right?
Yeah, he does.
Finally.
Well, yeah, but isolated. He bows up very isolated. Then Steubing's fanboying it up again. Groupie, Captain Groupie.
He's such a housewife. He's just such a
embarrassing, man.
Listen, like what you like. I have no problem with that.
100%, dude. 100%.
But he's always just he's a star ever.
He really is. First it was Vincent Price, and now he's just
no, first it was Roxy Blue.
That's right. First it was Roxy Blue. You're absolutely right.
Eventually it was Vincent Price. Probably somebody in between.
Yeah. Artie walks up, asks Mona if they could talk in private. Mona tells Steubing to finish her movie story because he tells it better. Of course he does.
Mm-hmm.
To your point,
goes into a reef.
To your point, Mona's not hooking up with Steubing. No. Mona does not see him as
No.
So Artie but I don't know what she sees in Artie.
There's a better chance she hooked up with Julie than she hooked up with Steubing.
Yeah.
There's
absolutely.
Zero chance. Steubing would melt around her.
100%. Oh, time for some sexual assault, Mike. Alex is leaning on Julie as he limps down the hallway.
You could see this coming. It was just
I knew it. I knew it. They enter his cabin. He plants a smooch on Julie and wrestles her to the bed.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Which again, the red button, the same thing as the red buttons thing, but theoretically he was an old man that Julie could have overpowered.
It's just worse.
This is straight up assault.
Well, and then Wally walks in and I'm like, oh no, things are about to get really bad now. You got a couple of horn dogs in there with, so Wally enters and tells Alex that he's won the bet. Julie's like, what bet? And I wrote, Julie's not thrilled, but she's not as mad as I hoped that she would be.
Well, she's more mad about the bet part and not the fact that she got thrown down on the bed against her will.
Like,
again, what, Julie? After
she
Uncle
should have ran out of that
left
room.
The boat, you should have gotten pepper spray and a whistle and probably a gun.
Well, and she just sat there on the bed, like you'd think. I just.
This is the original. Good. She's all that though. She's basically like, I'm a bet. I'm a stupid bet.
Yeah, I'm a stupid bet. Oh, okay. Can't buy me love. Okay, we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Back to the pirate bar and the half owl, half human Isaac. Beth asks him if he has anything for a broken heart. Funny, he said a banana daiquiri. It's a perfect drink for a broken heart and or a bachelor party. Either way you slice it. They just had a different name for him there.
That's right. My bachelor party.
Who ordered these 36 banana daiquiris?
Party cost more than Tony paid for the cruise.
Oh, I remember getting reamed. Mrs. Taylor was like, "Oh, how much was dinner?" And I was like, "Oh, it came out to about $3.50 per person." She's like, "What? Banana boats? How many banana boats? About 36 between two of us." Anyway, moving on. A banana daiquiri. Who knew? It's for a broken heart. Ralph and Dottie Warren sit down next to Beth. She's explaining she got dropped by a guy. Says maybe she came on too strong. And Ralph's talking about, they were worried about having kids before they got married, which I thought was a weird segue. Beth said that maybe she scared him off by saying that she wanted to have 17 kids. You think? Beth asked if they had any children. 2. One daughter who was a little person like them, and one full-size son. Compact. Oh. Yeah. She's right here. Just as sorry. They mentioned it's her 25th anniversary, and Beth sort of figures it out.
I rarely use this phrase in any walk of life, but especially on this show.
Yeah.
This was just a flat-out charming little. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
This was. It was a charming scene. It was just very
100%.
I just thought this was an excellent storyline the whole way through. They navigated, not the easiest thing. They navigated it pretty well, and this was just endearing. I really, really liked it. Good work by everybody here.
I completely agree with you, and I think I was a fan of the storyline because Artie was not involved in the storyline at all.
No, gee.
So now Mona and Artie are talking. Mona's irritated with Artie for standing her up. Artie says he thought she wanted to be with her friends.
Despite her saying,
right,
come with us.
Yeah, he's just so dumb.
You know what they needed? You know what they needed here?
What's that?
Not here, but the stand-up scene.
Yeah.
He should have gone. And then, we've all been there, right? When you're like hitting on somebody and you're at a party and you take something wrong or whatever. But they should have had the scene in the room, and then he like slips out or something like that.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I like that better.
You could do a little bit of that Hallmark misunderstanding thing or whatever. But like, he's just like, nope, I'm not going to listen to the words that you are saying to me. So.
Just, yeah. They plan on having dinner together that evening.
Mexican dinner.
Yeah.
I assume at one of the ports, although no port references this week at all.
So. No, unless they're going to have a Mexican dinner in the Pirates Cove bar. I don't know. Apparently they only serve Mexican food there. I don't know why. We see Julie. Julie's still pissed. Here comes Wally and Alex. They both apologize or attempt to apologize, but Julie is not having any of it. It's BS. They're still playing the game.
Yeah, that was not an apology.
No.
And
they have no respect for Julie. They have zero respect for Julie, and that's the thing that kind of just. And she's a crew member, man.
Bad form here, Burl too.
Yeah, just not cool.
He doesn't really.
Nothing.
For somebody who dressed up as a lady when this happened a few weeks ago to defend Julie, he's kind of like, I don't know, it's not that bad.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I think you're being a little. It's weird. They're so inconsistent with.
So
it's
here's
crazy.
here's how I thought it was going to go.
All right.
They come to apologize.
Who comes to apologize?
No, everything's happening the way it did. Julie's not buying it, right?
Right.
And then I thought that she would be like, you know what, guys? Maybe she pulls them each to a side, right?
Sure.
Individually. She's like, you know what? I got a little upset. That's not really right. And honestly, I kind of like you better anyway. Why don't you meet me in this room?
Oh, I know what you're doing.
And they do the classic where they meet each other in the dark.
Yep.
And then those two basically kiss by accident.
Yeah.
And Julie gets her comeuppance. And then you can have listen, guys, I'll let bygones be bygones, but you can't treat people like that or whatever like that.
Yeah, but the only thing is, what if it doesn't end with one smooch? What if these guys start just full on and Julie's like, ha ha, guys, listen, you can stop now, guys.
Point is, you could have easily had them get comeuppance, played it light, played it for laughs.
Yeah.
Instead of this nonsense.
You could have even thrown Gopher in there for something. You know, there's ways you could have done this in a hijinksy sort of way. I completely agree with you. Mona is dancing with Artie, and she's like, she's rubbing her hands all over his face, which I thought was weird. Oh, Artie, you're such an amazing dancer. Let me rub your face. So you see Steubing and Doc watching on, like they're like, and they credit the ship for them falling in love.
What is this? What are you ghosts?
Hell is going on?
It's like, looks like another one for the boat.
Oh, look, the princess strikes again. Shut up.
Get out of here.
And I wrote, I'm surprised that Steubing didn't want to cut in. Face rubbing. Such a dumbass.
Listen, we have talked about it. There are weeks where Adam Bricker should be arrested. But this version of him stinks.
This sucks. They took away his like, there's nothing there. But he was like, had some good one-liners and had some good, like there's nothing.
Let Steubing do this. Let Steubing do this nonsense. Like this is, or have another character, but this was, I don't like this Doc at all.
No, this is not.
He doesn't care about any of this. The last 2 weeks.
He could care less.
The last 2 weeks, they have made him care about stuff he does not care about.
Right. Like,
right.
Nothing. And no official duties that we've seen.
Boozing,
the past few episodes.
Broads, broken legs.
Yeah, and babies.
Baby delivery.
Only baby delivery. That's it. That's a heck of a business card for Adam Bricker, by the way.
Big women.
Big women. I like getting married so much I did it 8 times. You like that.
He's been like this since Loretta Swit. Do you think that maybe he's still holding a candle?
It's that the vodka hasn't gotten out of his system. That's what it is.
Vodka ain't working no more.
Poor guy. If it was up to him, he would have left the show then with her, and that would have been it.
Oh, he was going to Russia. Russia loved
That's it. Doug, Ralph, and Dottie celebrating their silver anniversary. Doug is sad sipping his champagne, and Ralph and Dottie hit the dance floor. We cut to Wally and Alex. They're blaming each other for the whole bet situation. This is where the cutscenes just got crazy. Julie came over and says she's not mad anymore until she finds out the bet was over a pizza, but then she laughs about it. Oh, Julie. Come on, man.
So two completely different things here. So first of all, no explanation as to why she's not mad anymore. I don't understand why she's not mad. Doesn't make any sense. They just kind of say you're not mad and therefore she's not mad anymore.
There's no logic. Yeah.
Nope. Her delivery on the pizza was tremendous. That was an excellent line. Julie, there's like 78% great Julie here, but some of it's.
But then she laughed about it after, and I'm like, no, go with the energy from you saying the word pizza. That's the direction I wanted you to go in.
But that was hilarious. But really, this is almost where I stopped taking notes.
Well,
somewhere here in Act 4, it just became stupid.
It's dumb. We're going back and forth. So we're going to skip to Beth. Beth enters the bar. She walks up to Doug. Doug is sipping champagne with two hands like it's a cup of hot tea. So annoying.
That's how Gopher's sister drank that Windex.
Yeah. She explains that she got some good advice, and she is sticking to him, meaning Doug. Yeah. Doug tells Beth that his parents are little people. Beth says, "Yeah, no kidding," and then immediately goes back to being, "Yeah, no, duh." And were you not in the pirate bar earlier? And immediately she goes back to being super aggressive. Okay. Right. Another quick cut here. Mona is sipping what I assume is cold duck. It's not champagne, but it's on ice with Artie in his cabin. He asked her to spend the night with him. Says he loves her. What is this? What the heck? Come on. How many days of this? These people are so quick to say, I love you.
Well, he got a crush on her from before. So I can see that.
He's confident enough to say the L word when the guy can't even
it's like we just talked about. It's like we just talked about with Doug and Beth. It's like, after a conquest, you got all this Niels.
Oh, that's true.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think we're rushing things. Yeah.
I've been talking a lot today.
We see Doug and Beth early morning on deck. Doug said he loves her. She's already talking about getting married and having kids. I'm like,
so a couple of things from this, but again, they cover it all because she's aggressive, so she can. It's not weird. It's
totally fine. It's not that I feel like it's not that it's not weird, but it's just not that unexpected. You know what I mean?
Two things. Doug at one point says that he kind of, because Beth's like, I'll see you at work, and he's like, I'd kind of like to take you out of it. So is he gonna let her not work anymore?
I don't even know what that.
Doug?
I don't even know. I don't even know what that means. I don't even what you just met and you're not gonna what?
Great, good for you, Beth.
I don't know. What does Doug do for a living?
Doug is a stockbroker.
Oh, that's right.
Don't think stocks were bad in 1978. There's not a famous stock crash in 1978, so I guess Doug's doing well.
He's all right.
They are getting their money's worth out of the deck green screen.
Oh my goodness!
3?
Oh,
did we get 3 shots?
3 or 4, yeah.
And there was a daylight and a nighttime. We're really getting on. This whole season's been like that, really, since the awful widowers of the end of last season. They bought that thing and they're going to use it.
They love it. They can't get enough of that green screen. We see Mona, obviously, in the signal for something happened, getting dressed in Artie's cabin. And this turned into a very dramatic scene where Mona is asking Artie not to let her leave. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Everything switched. They were going for some sort of
I don't know what
that was weird. It didn't belong on that show.
Were they going so? I don't give them enough credit for this. Were they going so meta that while he keeps talking about how she's a star, then it actually turns into a movie thing? But it was just if that's what they were going for, good for the effort, but they did not land it.
I'm just saying. Nobody wants to deal with Mona. If she's that dramatic, Artie's going to be like, you know what? I'd rather deal with carburetors and such. You're a complicated machine, Mona.
You better not interfere with my Laker games and poker with the boys.
Poker with the boys. I hope you like dirty hands and poker chips. Artie
It'd be great if Artie gave up his Laker tickets because Mona's got them.
He moved to San Diego.
They break up, and he gave up his Laker tickets the season before Magic arrived.
Oh, that's funny. I'm leaving Los Angeles for the San Diego Clippers.
Oh, damn it. No.
Damn it.
I love Norm Nixon.
I'm a Kansas City Kings fan. Oh, you brought me back.
It would be. I will give them. I always like when they do current references.
Sure.
This was a couple sportsy references, Namath and the Lakers, and
I liked it.
I do enjoy it. It saves me some time for having to look things up. So
I bet you in '78, Namath was probably playing for the Rams by then. I would imagine.
probably.
LA. Yeah.
But he's like, it's kind of like we talked about it on the sports episodes, right? It's like there's the top level people are good for references.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, he could have said Fran Tarkenton.
Yeah, they're not going.
Do that.
They're not going. I'm trying to think of
Jake. What's his name? Jake, the quarterback for the Raiders.
Kenny Stabler.
Kenny Stabler.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got Jake out of Kenny Stabler. I think Jake is short for Kenny. Yeah. Kenny Roberts. Kenny the Serpent Roberts. Big finish, Mike. Ugh. Doug and Beth are smooching while Ralph and Dottie exit the ship. Wally and Alex leave the ship with Julie so she can buy them pizza. I mean Chinese food. I mean cocaine, Mike. This is how this thing happens. She's leaving the ship with two strange men to go God knows where.
And she's knocking off work early.
Right.
What?
Again, who's helping these departing passengers? Just poor Gopher, man.
So does that confirm that they live in the area, or are they like grabbing pizza on the way to the airport, or is Julie going to murder them?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. There's something.
Yeah,
I'm not cool with it.
No.
Artie and Mona leave happily together, and that's it.
Well, it's weird because at the end, the Steubing comes down the steps with Isaac.
Oh,
and again, he's admiring his matchmaking, I guess. But at the end, they just kind of like they stare off at it like this was the greatest love story ever told. They did not earn all the bows they were taking for this matchup.
I didn't like the way it ended either. I don't like that where there's just kind of like where they're going for like a poignant sort of moment instead of
the fifth act never is worth it.
No,
but even I mean, there's nothing worse than the fifth act on an episode that stinks anyway.
I was exhausted by the time I got to this, and I'm like, thank God it was quick. Meaning the fifth act, but as a whole,
totals in a recap. It's obviously not the best. I don't think it's the worst. Again, because I did like the little people storyline.
Yeah, I did too.
But we're running into this thing that we talked about at the beginning of the show, where
one out of three.
1 out of 3, and you don't want to say it's the worst because the one is good. And I think the reason we have episode 8 from this season as the worst is because there was no.
Yeah, there was no little people storyline that we could attack. Yeah, that one had none. But
like these are just, and like I said earlier, so this was teetering on. The whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, "Oh, this is bad. This is nope. Okay, they got it back. Oh no, this is bad." And then when we get to the end, and they just absolutely sink those two endings, just awful.
Well, keep in mind that IMDb rating for this. I looked at it when I'm looking at the synopsis. This was one of the highest rated episodes of the season. It was a 7.2.
But I think
there were a total of 4, 7. But it's. I don't know.
I think that's about the Billy Barty thing. I think that's like you can get away. It's the reason I think the Red Buttons episode was rated so low. Is I think these ratings are not that intricate.
No.
When you have like something that's an outlier, it's because of you can point back to it and go, oh yeah, people obviously like that. It's not like people were like, oh my god, that Orson Bean, so.
No, I don't think that one storyline elevates the episode as a whole enough to reach, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it should. Number one, I don't think
ratings are stupid.
I think the ratings are dumb.
I'm sorry I ever brought them up. They really ruined your.
Well, it's not just that. It's just when I look ahead, I'm looking at the synopsis. I'm kind of like, oh, what are we in store for? Because I kind of do a little research first and then I do my first watch. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be, and I'm watching it going, where's the 7.2 portion?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. No,
it just messes me up.
No, I agree. The outliers are the ones that I do note, but mostly these things are in the same range.
Yeah.
And that's what we've gotten. I cannot fathom us getting even to the point where we can talk about a third storyline being good. The best one we had this season, the current leader, is episode 3, which was the cruise ship Casanova.
It was
Captain
great.
Dave. And I don't remember what the third storyline
I don't remember what the third one was.
Without really thinking about it. So, like, that's not great.
No.
Captain of the week.
My captain of the week this week, I'm going to go with Doug Warren.
Yeah.
And the name of the game is Principal.
Was he, though?
I mean, there was a 24-hour delay on his Principal, but, you know, he got there eventually.
I agree. He, that whole storyline to me, you could pick any version of that, and it really was, it was just really good. And like we said a lot this week, like clearly head and shoulders above the other ones. But I think they did a really nice job of kind of hitting a bunch of stuff. Probably got the least screen time of the 3.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was really good. It was charming. It was funny. It made sense. Like I said, I really appreciated the little touches about them knowing each other from the elevator and stuff. So I'll give it to the women of that storyline. Both Doug's mom, who was fantastic, and Beth.
She really was. She really was.
And again, they didn't have to go cartoonish, like little people the worst, you know, or something like that. But that was a, you know, they made it
handled it well.
Hammering it too hard.
Sure.
They weirdly do with some of the more sensitive stuff.
Oh, like the H-boning.
Well, but I'm saying
things
for
like
the
that.
most part, that was really well done.
I think so.
We didn't like the very end, but that was really well done.
Yeah.
The blind one last week was maybe a little cartoonish, but the other blind one was pretty good. They don't go heavy, and they don't go cartoony, and I appreciate that. Like,
no, I agree. I
don't need it to be like that every week, but if you're going to do it, don't. We have not run into one where it's like, oh, you know, yet.
No, I agree. I thought they did a good job.
Pretty good for a night, and I think the fact that Billy Barty is such a advocate probably had something to do with that too, right? They weren't going to...
That softens that blow based on who it's coming from, you know, versus...
I mean, the worst thing we've seen in terms of like dated, offensive, outside of the sexual assault, which happens way too much.
Happens every week, yeah.
Right. There was that Florence Henderson thing with the Asian perfume, and it's like... You know, and that was a throwaway thing. It hasn't been a storyline. So I think when they get to the storyline parts, they're at least not going to completely be offensive so far.
Or maybe it's easier to sort of let those, I don't know, jokes or comments from that period of time where they were accepted.
Yeah.
But
there hasn't been an offensive storyline yet.
No, I agree.
Outside of the sexual assault.
But the sexual assault happens on a weekly basis.
And the adultery being blown off, still a problem. So we still have a problem.
Yeah, pretty much every week. Yeah, we've got one of the original, you know, sins being violated on a weekly basis. Usually two.
Pretty much. Walk the plank.
Walk the plank for me, very simple. Wally and Alex get off the boat immediately. I could have gone Steubing here. I don't even want to give him. I don't even want to bring his name up. I'm going to go Wally and Alex. Yeah. I could go Steubing every week. But Wally and Alex were just a couple of scumbags.
Yeah, and again, didn't get the proper comeuppance. Wally never got comeuppance. Alex got a little bit, but
they were off to Julie's house to go do. They were off to Julie's house at the end to go do cocaine and then go after Chinese afterwards. So
unless Julie's got a basement where she's keeping all these people, like Buddy Stanfield's down in the pit somewhere.
Oh, kind of like Pulp Fiction when they put that ball in his mouth. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, like maybe Julie does get it. And she, that's why these
non-televised
guys never show. These guys never show back up.
Like no one ever sees Wally and Alex again.
I'm going with Mr. D'Angelo.
I can't
just
argue
because, like, I understand self-confidence is an issue for people,
sure,
even successful people. I totally get it. But to your point, Mona couldn't have laid it out any easier for him. And he sabotaged himself multiple times. And just because he got it at the end, that doesn't make it correct.
No.
He was whiny about it.
And I think there's a difference too, like you're saying. I think there's a difference between zero confidence and being like girl dumb are two very different things.
Very much so. Yeah.
And he was just zero confidence.
Yeah. Girl dumb, even girl dumb can pick it up when you literally say,
yeah,
I'd like to go out with you. Please come with me.
Yeah. No, come with me.
There's no trick here.
There was no room for misinterpretation.
No. And he was whiny about it too.
Nah, he just stunk.
Yeah. So, and it's a terrible name for I already forget it, but check the merch store. There's probably a hat.
Yeah.
So
Artie.
Anyway, that's Totals and Recap for this week.
All right. Well, let's, Mike, you know what it's time for?
The old mailbag?
Time to check the old mailbag. No mail this week.
No mail.
Any plugs, Mike? I know. We
if you're not going to send mail, that's fine. But then I want you to put reviews in the podcast thing.
Yeah, either or would be great.
Yeah, we need your feedback.
We definitely
even if you're pro Stubing.
Yeah, let us know.
Good luck.
Let us know.
Good luck. If you're pro Stubing, you might hate this podcast.
Yeah. Anything to plug this week, Mike?
Absolutely hammered on the Hidden Season Patreon as we come to the end of the regular season for the Phillies, and we'll be getting into the postseason, hopefully a long run, so you can listen to the three of us babble on about that.
Nice. You can find us everywhere and anywhere you find your audio podcast: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, Podchaser, Deezer, and my favorite, Player FM. Please hit that subscribe button and leave a review. You can also check out our video podcast on YouTube, and if you would, subscribe there and leave us a review there. You can email us at theloveboatproject@gmail.com, and you can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Look for weekly reels and updates. Next episode, Mike, 3 storylines.
Well, obviously.
One written by Fred Grandy and Bernie Capel.
Oh, excellent.
2 are written by Ben Jolson and Art Barr.
2?
So on paper,
that should be good.
It should be good.
Wow, 2 for Jolson. They've been off for a while, I feel.
Yeah. So
I hope,
I'm very
because I know we had concerns that their work had not been as good as season 1. So maybe they were saving it all for this big episode.
Maybe. I mean, episode 36 might be a good litmus to see where we are with Jolson and Barr.
I hope so because I really don't want to be a downer about it, but we either need these episodes to be way better or way worse.
Yeah, don't give us middle.
It's these middle episodes
that just stink. It's so bad it's fun to talk about, or it's so good it's fun to talk about, but it's so...
What a jerk.
What a...
Who said that?
Right. Who? All right, Mike. Well, we did it. Episode 35 is in the books. Can you believe we're on episode 35?
Well, now we're done.
We're done. Oh,
now we're done. Episode.
Can
35.
you believe we were on episode 35? I mean,
at some point I need to count up the actual episodes because IMDb counts 2-parters as 2 episodes. So we have, I think it says 250 on IMDb, but that's obviously less. So we may be like 9th, 8th the way done or something like that. Who knows?
Look at that progress.
We're closer today than we were yesterday.
We were. Well, Mike, thanks again for joining us. I look forward to our next episode. And thanks out there for all of you listening. We'll see you next time.